Hey everyone and welcome to my channel. I am getting ready for an art show which I am super excited about. But before we get ready, I have to frame a few of my paintings and I thought this would be a great time to show you all how I do it, how I make my framing look professional, and how I add a little extra personal touch to make y'all feel special. So I really hope you enjoy the video. Here's the painting that I have to frame, and you can buy frames anywhere. This is the one I felt that complemented my work the most. I think I bought this one at Hobby Lobby, and I really like the red tones in it. I felt that it made the branches and the berries pop more for this canvas. Before we even get into it, you're going to want to cut the backing first, just because it is so much easier to do this step first while your canvas isn't in the frame. So we're just going to place the frame down on this paper and trace around it with a pencil. Grab some scissors and cut. Move that aside. And I'm going to flip the frame over face down gently so it doesn't get all scraped up. And I'm going to place the painting, again, very gently inside so we don't damage the painting at all. The next thing we need to do is keep the painting from falling out. I have these little spacer brackets, and what these do is just hold the canvas to the frame. They screw into the frame so you don't damage the painting at all. You're obviously gonna need a screwdriver to do this. You don't need to use an electric drill. The frame shouldn't be that tough, but if you're gonna be doing a lot of them, your hand might get a little sore. And if you're really good at controlling the speed of a drill, you can go ahead and do that. I would just be very careful so you don't strip anything. I'm going to put one of these brackets on either side of the frame just to hold it in. This is a small piece, so it doesn't need much to hold in. If I were going to do a 16 by 20 or larger, I would most likely put 2 brackets on all 4 sides. And that may be a little overkill, but I like my paintings to be 100% good to go for the collector, so that gives me more peace of mind. I don't tighten down the first one all the way, just in case I need a little wiggle room for any of the brackets. Then I go ahead and I tighten them all down once everything is in place. And one major tip, if you decide to go this route, make sure to measure from the frame to the back of the canvas. These spacers come in multiple sizes, so if you're not going to bring your painting to the store, make sure to measure to figure out what size you need to buy. I don't want you to get all the way to the store, then get screwed and have to come all the way back home just to measure that little part. Now the painting's secured to the frame and it isn't going anywhere. And a lot of people just stop here and put the hanging wire on it, which is acceptable, but I like the back to look professional as well. So I do an extra step with the paper and I add a little personal touch just because, like I said before, I like my collectors to feel special. I have some double-sided tape I place down on the frame as close to the edge as I can get it. and I do that to all 4 sides. I try not to touch the tape very much just because you don't want the oils on your hands taking away the stickiness of the tape. This frame is pretty thin. Most of mine I get aren't this thin. So I'm also going to put some frame on the canvas just to make sure everything stays put. I'll put a link in the description to everything that I've used to do this. If you want to copy this technique, just look in the description. Everything will be there for you to easily find. Now we place the paper in the center of the canvas as best as possible and carefully press down in the center of the frame on all 4 sides to attach the paper to the double-sided tape. Then work your way towards the corners. Now because this frame was thinner, I attached the paper to the canvas first, and now I am folding the paper over and attaching it to the frame. So this paper is attached to both the canvas and the frame. I try to make mine as flat as possible, but because the canvas sticks out further than the frame, you will get a couple creases no matter how careful you are. I know adding this paper isn't necessary, but I feel that it has a more professional look to it, and if someone buys one of my paintings, I want them to feel and know that I go above and beyond to deliver a quality product instead of just slapping some hardware on the back of it. After most of it is down, I take my fingernail and I rub the paper down as much as I can. This is also where I try and smooth out the creases that I have. Now, because this is an oil painting, it still cures for years after it's completed. Actually, I've heard that an oil painting never stops curing in its whole lifetime. But because of that, we want the temperature in the front and the back of the frame to be the same at all times so it can cure evenly. We also don't want moisture accumulating between the back of the canvas and the paper. So we're going to just make a little breathing hole. Now there are 2 ways to do this. If you don't trust yourself not to poke a hole all the way through and hit the painting, you can do this step at the beginning before you attach the paper to the frame. I do it both ways. It kind of just depends what I feel like doing at the time. This is also the fun part for me where I add a little special touch. It isn't much, but I hope these little things I like to do show how grateful I am to have the love and support I get from all of you. I know it takes a little bit extra time, but to me, it's worth it. There you have it. That is how you frame a painting and make it look professional. Thank you all so much for supporting this channel. If you haven't yet, please hit the the like button, subscribe so I can bring you more amazing video content like this. And if you have any advice or tips on how you frame your artwork, please leave it in the comments down below so we all can learn more. Guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!